So today we are going to be talking about everyone's favorite VIP process. Now, come on, get excited. So basically, I want to give you the what VIP. What is VIP? But more than giving you the what on what VIP is, I want to explain to us the why. Because how many of us know we can hear the what, but it's made no effect to us if we don't understand why are we doing what we're doing. Right, church? We need to know why we are doing what we're doing. And so, to give you a rundown, the 4-week first-time guest assimilation process that we're talking about, where a first-time guest walks through our doors, and we have 4 weeks with them to be super intentional with care as we help guide the first-time guest into a personal relationship with Jesus. So this is what it is. 4 weeks of intentionality, of care, to help them begin to walk in a personal relationship with Jesus. Why is this so vital for us to do? Why is this so vital for us to begin to walk out this first-time guest assimilation process? Why do we even have an assimilation process for our first-time guest? Can I tell you that there are students who are coming as a first-time guest week in and week out who are struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, self-harm, and even maybe they come from a really bad home life. So here they are as a first-time guest. Maybe they're unchurched. They've never walked into the 4 walls of the church before, and they are going through some stuff. How many of us know that we go through some stuff as human beings, right? It is so vital for us to begin to understand that this process that we are walking out is not just some process that we get to do just because we check it off and we're like, well, great, we did it. But it is so vital for us to do this because this is an opportunity for us to see every single person through the lens of Jesus. How many of us know that Jesus was so obsessed with the lost? He was so obsessed with the lost. And more times than not, our first-time guests who are walking through these doors are not saved. Did you know that every single service, at least 2 to 3 people get saved? Isn't that incredible? Every single service, at least 2 to 3 people are getting saved. And I want to tell you that these first-time guests that are walking through our doors, more times than not, they do not know Jesus. And so we have 4 weeks as their leaders to begin to be so intentional with loving them, ministering to them, and caring for them. And I don't know about you, but that fires me up to begin to be the hands and feet of Jesus to these students. Does that fire you up? So my prayer today is that we wouldn't just talk about VIP and see it through the lens of another process, but we would see it through the lens of ministry. We would see it through the lens of this opportunity that we get to just love on these students. The students who are struggling, the students that are broken, the students who are questioning same-sex attraction. God only knows what it is, but we get to love them where they are at and begin to be so intentional with care. And so today, starting off, we are on week 1 of texting. Week 1 of texting. So throughout our pre-services for this whole entire month, we're going to be going through week 1 all the way through week 4. And today we're going to be hitting on week 1 of texting. So why are we texting our students? Why is it that our first step to our assimilation process, why is it that when they come to their doors, we're then following up with a text message throughout the week? Why is that? You can jot down our first point. We want our students to feel seen. A text message can go a lot further than you think. Because how many of us know as a first-time guest, you're in this building, you're around a lot of people, you're in a small group, and the enemy's probably telling you, they don't really see you. You don't really matter. But here you are reaching out with a text message, helping them understand that, hey, in small groups, I actually saw you. You actually have value to the group. We actually love you so much, and we're going to begin to fight for you and love you all throughout the process. Number 2 is we want them to feel like they have a safe place to process with. How many of us know when our students are walking through these doors for their first time ever, they're encountering Jesus? Do you guys have that expectation that when they step foot into this room, they are having an encounter with the King? And so if I'm a first-time guest and I've never experienced this before, I might have some questions, right? I might have things that I want to process with, like, hey, I just experienced this love. I just experienced this grace. Like, what's my next step? How do I go about this? And so our heart behind texting them is to help process with them everything that they are processing themselves stepping through our doors. Also, like we said, our students could be struggling. They might not open up on the first week in front of a group full of people with things that they might be going through. And so this week, as you're reaching out to them, you're able to show them that you're there for them, and they might actually be vulnerable with you right there on the first week. There was actually a leader who was talking to me the one day, and he had a student come for the first time, and it was actually in June when we were about to go to our summer break. And so he meets this first-time guest. He reaches out to him. And do you know that right there, as he's texting this student begins to open up to him about everything that he's struggling with. And he's kind of in shock, right? He's like, I just met you, and you're just being so vulnerable with me. But in that moment, he was able to help him process everything in such a healthy way, begin to minister to him, care for him, love on him, and give him next steps in his walk with God. And so don't diminish a first-time guest opening up to you the first week that they meet you, because I'm telling you, they might just need you to sit and listen. And I know that sometimes they might not open up in a group setting right off the bat, but when you have that personal text message where you're saying, I see you, I love you, I'm here for you, they might open up and begin to share with you some things, and then you're able to have that opportunity to minister. Number 3 is we want them to get discipled. We want to get them discipled. Your goal, once you text them, because again, we want them to feel seen, and we want them to feel like you're a safe place to process with. Our third goal in texting our students in the first week is we want them to begin to be discipled. And so how are they going to get discipled? How are our students going to begin to be discipled? They're going to get discipled by our weekend services. Week in and week out, they have this structured time with you to be able to help them walk in their next steps with God. And so your goal, once you text them, is to have them have a personal invitation back to our service. Back to our service to begin to get discipled, to be cared for, and to help walk in all that God has for them. Because again, like I said, more times than not, they're unsaved. And so we're going to begin to help funnel them into our process where we're going to be so intentional with discipleship and helping them walk in all that God has for them. Because how many of us know the enemy is after this generation, and we want to equip them and make sure that they are well-resourced to begin to walk in all that God has for them. So those are our 3 points. We want our students to feel seen. We want them to feel like they have a safe place to process with. And we want them to get discipled and come back to our services. Do you know the number one lie that the enemy is going to tell you when you text your students and you might not get a response is that this is pointless, right? You're not getting a response. They don't hear you. They don't care, all that stuff. But can I tell you that even if they don't reply, even if you don't get an answer, you are still impacting them. You are still making a difference. There was a leader that came up to me and they said, Mariah, I've been reaching out to this student and they just aren't responding to me, but I felt so heavy on my heart to still keep reaching out, to still keep getting more personal with them. Do you know that student walked through the door into Echo and she came up to her leader and she said, hey, I know that I didn't respond to you, but I want to let you know that when you did text me, I was going through probably the hardest season of my life, and your text messages encouraged me tremendously, more than you would ever imagine. Even if you don't get a response, do not let it discourage you, because I am telling you, God is working. He is working in their heart. He's moving, and he's encouraging them. So keep doing what God is calling you to do, specifically in this 4-week assimilation process of helping our students feel seen. They have someone healthy to process with, and they're able to get discipled. Sound good? You guys know the why we're doing this? Well, right now, I want to have us do an action. I really want you guys to begin to model this. And so what I want to have you guys do is I'm going to actually have you grab a partner. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to text that person as if they are a first-time guest. I know. Might be like, ooh, Mariah. We're going to have you grab a partner. You're going to text them as if they're a first-time guest. And you're going to basically model what it looks like for you to text a first-time guest. They just walk through the doors. They might just gave their life to Jesus, and they need to process something with you. And so what to keep in mind when texting them is you want them to feel seen, that you're a safe place, and that you want them to come back next week. And so right now we're going to put on some music, and you guys are just going to text a partner who's in the room right now. And for those of you watching on our Leader YouTube channel, you can be writing this in your notes. You can be texting a friend, modeling it as well. So grab out your phones. Right now, grab out your phones. I want you to find someone in the room. I want you to text them as if they are a first-time guest, and we are going to see how you are going to care, love for them, and begin this journey where you're going to be able to disciple them. You can turn the music.